And one of those things that you will never find anyone objecting to is that failing and having adversity and having things not work out the way that you would like them to is a core tenet of how you become successful in this world. You cannot hide from it. You can't change it. You can't do anything except accept it and be okay with it, move forward with it, no matter what happens, learn from it, and just become a better person.
This is the How to Quit Working Show. Jeff Steinman believes entrepreneurship is the only true path to freedom. That's why he created the How to Quit Working Show, where you'll hear stories, insights, and inspiration from lifestyle fanatics who left their soul-sucking 9-to-5 job forever. Now, here's your host, author, entrepreneur, and ultimate lifestyle fanatic, Jeff Steinman.
Hello and welcome to the How to Quit Working Show. Today we're going to talk about what to do when you feel stuck. And note how I titled that. I titled it "When You Feel Stuck," not because you are stuck. You just feel like you are stuck because there is no such real thing as being stuck. It's only a feeling that you have that we're going to talk about how to get past and move on with starting your business or whatever amazing things you want to do in your life. Now, before we jump into that, I just want to tell you about the How to Quit Working Circle. You probably have heard me talking about this. And my question for you is, if you've heard me talking about it and you haven't joined, then just tell me why the heck not? Because it's a really great place where you can go and get free video training. You get a community of your peers, folks to talk to and bounce ideas off of, other people who think like you and who are looking to get the same things out of life that you are. And I know that is not something that you probably have in your everyday life. So head on over to howtoquitworking.com/circle and jump in that. It is all free and it is all at howtoquitworking.com/circle. I look forward to seeing you in there. But now let's talk about that feeling of being stuck. And as I said at the beginning, it's really important to recognize that there is no such thing as being stuck. Like, unless somebody's got handcuffs on you or you're actually like physically or somehow impaired, you are not really stuck. You just feel that way. And it's really important to realize that most of the obstacles, probably 9 out of every 10 obstacles that you face in your life are up here in your brain. They are just things in your brain and you are just thinking differently. I had a great weekend. I actually spent a lot of time consuming a lot of stuff that was inspirational to me, and it really kind of got me fired up to talk about this topic. And I think one of the things that I really got in touch with again was this whole idea that there really is no such thing as success or failure. There's no such thing as stuck and not stuck. There's no such thing as good and bad. It's all how we feel and how we're processing it in our head. And that's why I wanted to make sure that we begin by framing this up by saying and by being really open and honest with each other about the fact that you're not really stuck, you just feel stuck. So, first of all, before we get into this, just get really clear and bought in to that. There is no magic thing, there's no magic pill, there's no secret sauce, there's no nothing that anybody knows or anybody does, anybody who's more, in your perception, more successful than you, who's accomplished the thing that you're trying to accomplish. Those people don't know anything that you don't know. They don't have any special magical powers. They're just people who have gotten better in touch with themselves and they know how to manage their thoughts and their feelings. So let's just be real upfront about the fact that this is just a feeling that you are having when you feel like you are stuck, because all you have to do is take some action. So before we do anything, get really clear with that. Understand that it is just a feeling in your head. It is just something that is going on in your brain. And the great thing about the things that go on in your brain is that you have the power to change them. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. Now, I think that the other thing that I just want to talk a little bit about is the idea that whenever you're trying to accomplish something, we get it's so easy to get overwhelmed and think about, oh my gosh, all the stuff I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to find this person, I have to get these clients, I have to do this, I have to do that, I need a website, I need a brand, I need this and that. And it's so easy to get overwhelmed by all that stuff. But the reality is, all that you really need right now is to know what to do right now. Now, I'm not saying that planning isn't a good thing, because it absolutely is, and it certainly has its place. But particularly when you're in these early stages of business development, as folks in this community generally are, it's not about having a big giant plan and knowing all the things that you have to do. It's about knowing what is that very next step right in front of you. And that can be as simple as making a phone call. It could be as simple as sending an email. It could be as simple as writing a blog post. When you're feeling stuck, the first thing that you should do is figure out what that next step is. What is that very next thing that is right in front of you? That very next thing that is right in front of you that you can do right now without thinking, without having to get other people's input, without having to do a lot of planning around it, or without having to learn anything. What is that next thing right in front of you that you need to do right now? It doesn't matter how big or how small that thing is. It just matters that you know what that next thing is. Now, if you're saying you don't know what that thing is, well, I don't really buy that. You know what that very next thing is that you need to do. And if you're saying to yourself, well, I don't know what that is, or I don't know if it's the right thing or not, just push all those thoughts out of your head and forget about it, and just do that thing. Just do that thing. The thing that gets us so caught up in our head is wondering if it's right, if it's wrong, if it's going to work, if it's not going to work. But the reality is none of that really matters, because anybody who has accomplished anything, and you know, we talk about successful people as though they're somebody besides you, but that's not the case. You've actually probably accomplished many things in your life, and you know that when you set out to do that thing, when you set out to accomplish that thing, maybe you did a project at your job and you were really successful at it. Maybe you have been involved in raising your nieces or nephews. Maybe you have been involved with some sport and you saw some success there. No matter who you are, there is something in your life that you can point to that you saw some success in. And probably considerably more success than most people that try that thing. And remember that when you began to do that thing, whatever that thing was, you did not begin doing it knowing everything that you need to do to make it happen and to make it work and to make it successful. So what you do know as you look back on that thing that you accomplished is that you just kind of did the best that you knew how to do at any given point. So you put one foot in front of the other and you said, all right, this is the best thing that I know how to do right now, so I think I'll give it a shot. And you gave that thing a shot, whatever that little thing was. And it may have worked and it may not have worked. If it worked, great, you were a step ahead. If it didn't work, well, you learned one thing that didn't work and you were able to step back and look at your other options for how to proceed. Or maybe taking that step revealed that there were new options that you didn't even know were there. Step number one, to sort of summarize of this process of what to do when you're feeling stuck, is to just figure out what that next thing is to do. And again, I maybe shouldn't say figure out, because you probably already know it. You probably already know what that little thing is that you need to do. What is that one tiny thing that you can do right now that doesn't require anything difficult or complicated, that you can do right now? Figure out what that step is, and number two, take that step. Take that little step, do that little thing, whatever that little thing is, just do it. Just do that little thing, put one foot in front of the other, and just do that thing. And quit worrying about whether it's right or wrong, whether it's good or bad, whether it's going to work or whether it's not going to work. Just do that thing. Look, I'm going to be really frank here. Chances are it's not going to work. Chances are it's not going to be the right thing. But what separates people who accomplish big things from people who do not is their willingness to take that step. To take that step and be wrong, have it not go as they planned. I don't even like to use words like wrong or mistake, because the reality of it is there just isn't any right or wrong, and there aren't any mistakes. It's all just steps on a journey. You just have to take that step. So step number 2, take that step. Do that thing, no matter how small or how large it may be. Take that step and do that thing. Step number 3 is learn from it. It doesn't matter what happened in that step. What matters is that you've learned something. I always try to say that, starting a business and becoming successful is not about doing the right thing. It's about building yourself into the person that you need to be to take the action that will make you successful. And the most important thing that you can do to build yourself into that person is to take those steps. Just take those steps and don't be worried about whether they're good or bad or right or wrong or successful or unsuccessful. Just taking those steps are what is so important. And that is why the 3rd step is to learn from those things. Process the information of what happened. The thing that's so interesting about this is if you do that small thing and you take that small step and it's successful, it gets you the result that you wanted, it works out, whatever it is, then that's great, but the reality of it is it's just a small step, and secondly, you probably didn't really learn much of anything from it. So in a way, and this sounds really strange as I'm saying it's coming out of my mouth, and it sounds really crazy, but I really believe it's true. You're almost better off if it doesn't work. Because if it doesn't work, you're going to discover something. You're going to learn something new. You're going to discover potentially another path that you could go down. You're going to discover another piece of information that you didn't know before. You're going to discover maybe that you absolutely hate doing something that you thought you were going to like doing. Whatever it is, you're going to discover something, and that is going to make you into a bigger and better person who is capable of doing more in the world. So another way to look at it is just take that step and hope that it doesn't work, because you're going to learn something. You're going to become a better person. You're going to become a person with more knowledge, with more information. The other thing that's so great about when things don't work the way you want them to work is that you practice failing. You practice being able to go out there and do things, have them not work the way you expect, and then come back and stand up strong and go out and do something else. It is the best mental training that you will ever get in your entire life, is going out there and doing things and having them not work. And when you say you're stuck, I mean, you're not really, as I said, you're not really stuck. You're just probably afraid that the thing that you're going to do isn't going to work. Or you're overwhelmed by the large number of things that you think that you need to do, or that you do need to do, but you just don't have to do them all right at this very minute. So the whole idea of being stuck is not real. It's a myth. It's just something that you've created in your head that is telling you that you have to figure out the absolute perfect thing to do, because it absolutely cannot fail. And that is just completely backwards thinking, because if it does work, that is great, and you have made one small step towards wherever you're going. Congratulations. However, if it doesn't work, you're going to learn a bunch of information, you're going to become a better person, you're going to become a stronger person, and you're going to become a more resilient person. Resiliency is so incredibly important in business. I mean, it is just the most important thing that I can imagine you needing to have to be successful when you're trying to accomplish something. When you look at all of the successful people out there, you will always see that there were massive, massive failures in their past, and they were not able to get to where they were without having had those failures. I wish that we as humanity could somehow figure out, and maybe we will, figure out a better way to learn and become better people than failing. But right now, it's kind of all we've got. It's a really, really important tool that we have to have in our arsenal. And if you want to be successful, if you want to be supremely successful and you want to have everything that you dream of in life, which is why you're here listening to this podcast or watching this YouTube video or reading this blog, whatever you're doing, if you want to have all of that success, you've got to have the resiliency necessary to push past all of these things. And here's the great thing. I mean, the absolutely amazing thing about developing that resiliency. The great thing about developing that resiliency is that most people don't have it. I mean, I don't know how to put a number to this, but based on my observations in life, I would say that maybe 1 or 2% of the people that I have interacted with actually have the resiliency necessary to push forward and to be extremely successful in the world. When you develop that resiliency, and I don't know if resiliency is actually a word, I think it's just resilience. So pardon me on that. But when you develop that resilience, you're putting yourself in that top 2%. You're putting yourself right up there above all of the other people who don't have the resilience that is required to be successful. So what an amazing gift you're giving yourself. It sounds so corny. I hate saying a gift you're giving yourself, but you know, it is what it is. And what an amazing gift that you're giving yourself to build your own resiliency and build your own, I said resiliency again, your own resilience, and to build that up and put yourself in that top tier of humanity so that you can do big, huge, amazing things. And the only way that we know how to get there, that we as a humanity know how to get there, is by failing. You know, we humans have learned a whole lot about how these brains work, how the world works, how to get certain results and how to get other results. We know a whole lot about it. The general body of knowledge around what we know about how to live life and how to accomplish things and how to be happy goes back to biblical times. I mean, if you really look at the intent behind much of the stuff in the Bible or any historic text, you will see that it all is coming together to illustrate these basic common themes. And I'm not talking about religion or anything like that. I'm talking about the oldest texts that we can look at and the oldest writings and the oldest pieces of knowledge that we have access to. And that's biblical and other historical, generally religious-based texts. But they all have that same common theme, and I wish I could get into that, but there's just not time. But they all go back to these same basic things that are absolutely necessary to living the best lives that we can possibly live. And when you really just pull back all of the garbage that's sort of in front of that, because so many of the things that are going on in your head and that go on in my head every day are surface level things that are much higher level, I should say maybe much lower level, much more superficial than those core basic things that we know about what makes human beings successful and happy and able to accomplish things. And one of those things that you will never find anyone objecting to is that failing and having adversity and having things not work out the way that you would like them to is a core tenet of how you become successful in this world. You cannot hide from it. You can't change it. You can't do anything except accept it and be okay with it, move forward with it, no matter what happens, learn from it, and just become a better person. It's the only way that you can do it. It's the only way to be successful. Quit worrying about it. Quit worrying about it and just go for it. Quit worrying about it and just go for it. It's the way the game is played. If you were going, this is the Monday after the Super Bowl, if you were going out there on the football field to play in the Super Bowl, you would not say in the middle of the game, you wouldn't say, you know what, I think I don't want to play the game this way. I want to play it differently. You just can't do that, right? Maybe at some point you can exert enough influence to change the rules of the NFL, but the reality of it is, in that moment, in that game, while you're playing that game, you can't just change the rules on the field, and the same goes for life. This is something that we know. We know that failure is an extremely important part of becoming successful and becoming resilient and becoming an amazing human being. And maybe someday that will change, but changing that is not my mission in life, and I don't think it is a good one for you to take on. I think that you just should accept it and love it and embrace it and just get excited and go out there and fail spectacularly and be okay with it, because it's going to be okay. And if anybody is qualified to tell you that you can fail and it's going to be okay, it is me, because I have done plenty of that failing. I have done most of the failing in my entire life in the past 4 or 5 years. So I'm very intimately familiar with this topic, and I am still around. I am still breathing, and I am still living, and I am still moving forward, and I am still continuing to fail over and over and over and over again. And the more I do it, the more I become resilient, the more I learn, and the better person I become. So it's cool. Go out there and fail at something. It's great. So you're not stuck. You're just worried you're going to fail or you're overwhelmed. So just go out there and do something. Figure out what that next little thing is that you can do. If you really want to make some huge progress in your business and you want some help, I would love to work with you one-on-one. This is something that I have been doing more of lately, and I have been really, really enjoying it, because I have been seeing what an amazing transformation I can create for people when I can get on the phone with them or on Skype and one-on-one talk to them and help you work through the things that are stopping you from having that success that you deserve in life. Go over to howtoquitworking.com/coaching and get more information about my coaching services and how I may be able to help you to become a freaking amazing person who is capable of accomplishing anything in the world. I know that together we can do it. We can do amazing things. If you're interested in something that is a little bit more simple, you'd like to just dip your toe in, go over to howtoquitworking.com/kickstart and get more information about our Kickstart program. That is an inexpensive program that is going to help you to make amazing progress in your business. I'd love to see you in Kickstart. I'd love to talk to you about coaching, but I would also love for you to go out there and do something amazing this week. I will talk to you next time on the How to Quit Working Show.
Thanks for joining us on the How to Quit Working Show. Tune in next time when we'll talk to another amazing person just like you, who is now living the ultimate life of freedom and doing it on their terms. If you want to learn how to quit working and get these episodes delivered directly to you, visit howtoquitworkingshow.com.